Hey everyone, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse, and I apologize for being 7 minutes late. Um, I I had so many things happen all at once right when I was going to start, so really sorry. Got a couple emails from work and had to respond to those, and I'm getting errors when I try to commit, and when I tried to start the stream, the button to start the stream was like grayed out, and I couldn't get it to start. It turns out I just had to refresh the page and it worked. But anyway, I'm sorry that was really late. Apologies for that. Um, I was kind of freaking out beforehand because the project wouldn't run at all. So I mean that was that was a big deal because we wouldn't really have much of a show if that was the case. All right, let me check. I'm gonna check the live chat really quick because there's a lot in there. Okay, all right. Um, so for those of you who haven't seen this show before, I'm gonna do some coding, and then I'm gonna answer some questions, and then do coding, and then answer some questions, and I'll break it up with a timer. So I'm gonna do a 25-minute timer, which I'm gonna start now, and I think maybe I should move. I'm gonna move the timer to one of my other screens, and we'll just leave the code on this screen. Let me make this bigger so y'all can see. Today's live stream is only going to be around an hour long, which is pretty close to what our normal is, but I do have to go somewhere shortly after that today, so got to make sure I don't lose track of time. Alright, so I think that should be big enough for everyone to see. Just to show you what has gone on and what some of the errors were, I upgraded to Next version 6. I believe it's 6.01 is the official version. So if anybody is upgrading your React or your Next projects to 6, watch out for this. It may not affect all of you, but if you have a Babel RC file and you have these presets, the presets need to be arrays. So what I had was I had just strings and not arrays, and it would not start the server at all. It would try to start and then it would exit. So that would my issue was simply these just needed to be arrays. So if you're having some similar issues, try putting all your values for your presets and your Babel RC file into make them arrays. Now I'm also getting another error, so I thought that fixed the problem, but when I wanted to commit really quickly before the stream so that you all didn't get the same error if you tried to load this project, but my tests failed, and I think it's a similar issue. So I didn't get to completely fix this before I started the stream, but it says it couldn't find preset env relative to the directory users, Jesse Wago projects, Franciscan React. So this is why I'm assuming that we have this file here, we have tests, we have presets, env. So I'm wondering if this is also an issue, and we're gonna we need to troubleshoot this first before we move on. Otherwise, I'm just gonna push this same error up to GitHub, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather fix it. So this is gonna be CSS. Hopefully we can fix this in a minute or two. If I can't fix it in a minute or two, I'll just hold off, and I won't commit anything, and I'll fix it later and then commit all my stuff later. but if we can fix it quickly, I think it'll be better. Alright. Can find app relative to directory. Alright, so it's looking for. Why is it looking for it there? Alright, so let's see. I'll click. Presets. Oh, okay. So Harshit said that he had the same issue. All right, awesome, Harshit. Let me check out the Babel RC in JSAF. So let's go. Let me pull over a browser window, and we'll do this together. So some of you, I'm sure, have heard me talk about this project before, but Harshit and I and Niki, JavaScripter, have been working on a side project called JavaScript.af. So this is where we're going to go right now to get the fix for our issue. So where's our... Oh, I need to go into the front end, correct? Let's see. And if you checked this out in GitHub before, check it out again, and it's a lot easier to contribute now. It's all in one repo. The back end and the front end are no longer separated. So, test preset. Alright, let me see the difference here. Let's get rid of that. Glad I don't have to go through that. I wasn't looking forward to it. Oh, okay. Let's copy. Make sure I got yes. Okay. Just don't copy style component stuff. Okay. Yeah, I didn't get the style component stuff. So, oops. And I need one more of those, I believe. Am I good? Maybe I didn't need one more. Alright. That's kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should go here, and then 6 goes all the way up there. 7. Alright, yeah, that should work. Okay, let's start that. And let's rerun this. So I'm going to do yarn CM, and then I'm going to give it the retry flag. Hopefully this will work, and then we can get started on our CSS. So if you were here for just the CSS stuff, sorry for the wait. It looks like it's working now, and it's going to happen. No! It still failed. Hopefully I didn't get the same error. JS provide an invalid property of default. Alright, did I mess it up? Alright, let me verify that this actually is still loading the page. And if it is, I think we'll just move on to that. Localhost, let's go. There we go. Alright, so this is still loading. I think we may just go on to the CSS. Okay. Alright, so I'll work on that later on. If anybody is having similar problems and is really interested on how we fix that, just ask me later on, and hopefully I'll have that fixed later today. Okay, so here's the page that we're going to go to, and we were working on this a little yesterday, but we're going to work on it from a different angle. We're going to do the CSS. We were doing it JavaScript and data stuff yesterday, so today we'll work on the CSS. So this will be a good stream if you're kind of new. Maybe you're not that great with React or JavaScript, but you do know CSS, or you're at least learning it, then we can... Let's see, which ones I think I had. Did I have education faculty? I don't know if I have this data linked up. We'll find out in a second. If not, I can switch to a different department. Yeah, don't have it. All right, so let's go with. Oh, I know. I know it was English. English faculty. There we are. Need to just. Okay, Harshit says I need 2 new dependencies, Babel Core and Babel Jest, with the versions in there. Okay, I'll grab those in a little bit. Okay, so this is the page as it is right now. It doesn't look great. Okay, so just a quick recap of how we got to this point. We created some cards, we used some pre-made components, and then added our own stuff as well. And then we're just pulling some data using GraphQL. We're pulling some data from a WordPress installation, and we're getting a lot of markup, and then we use some regular expressions to pull out the pieces of the markup that we wanted. And this is what we have. And we have a couple problems here. So the big problem is we have these images, and they're obviously different shapes and sizes. So what we need to do is create a way to display this that will look good no matter what shape and size image we have. Oh, okay, Harshit, I see you have the fix. I just want to do a little CSS stuff because I advertise the stream as CSS, so I don't want to get too far off right now. Maybe I'll try it a little later on in the stream. I'll do the fix. All right. So here's what I'm thinking. We can maybe actually, you know what? We had this issue before. We had this issue on a different project. Let's take a look at a different UI we created a little less than a year ago. So let's go here to catechetics.com. And this was our first project we did on the stream. We had the same issue with really similar components, similar data. And so this is what we had. We tried to go with the card approach, but because we have different size and shapes in terms of images, it wouldn't work. So we ended up going with these rows instead, And also, we wanted to make sure that all of our text was aligned properly. So we obviously couldn't put the images on this side. We had to move them to this side. I think this is probably the model that we ought to go with. So what we'll do is we're gonna switch around the markup a little bit to make it easier to apply our styles, but we're basically going to follow this. Okay, and we may even come in and grab some styles that we used here. So maybe like this little line here. Might not be a bad idea to just pull the styles instead of trying to recreate it. But unless anyone has objections, I think this is the route that we're going to go with. So since we already did all the work to do this, why not use that as the basis for what we're going to do here? It'll be nice and create some consistency between two different sites that are both university sites for Franciscan University. So always good to provide, I don't know, a familiar user experience across different sites. Okay. So let's look at the actual file, the markup for this, to see what we need to change, because I think this is going to take a bit more than just CSS. We'll have to move around some things in the markup. So I'm going to leave these pages up. I'm not going to close them out since we'll probably be editing them later on to fix our error. But right now, let's go to... I thought I had these pages up. Maybe I don't. Faculty list. That's not it. I'll just open it up here. No, my node modules folder got open. That's the worst, and then you have to scroll for 3 days. Okay. Where am I at? Components. That's where we want to be. Components, and here's our new component that we've created just in the last few days, and that's that list card item. And if we turn this into a list row item, we'll probably end up changing the name. I'm just going to leave it for now. But here's what we'll do. Right off the bat, let's check out styles. Nope, this isn't it. Faculty list item, that's what it is. It wasn't list card item, it's faculty list item. So sorry about that. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this looks way more familiar. I was scrolling through that component like, I don't remember any of this from yesterday. Alright, so we're not going to have a card anymore. So let's get rid of what we're doing here in terms of setting up a card, and let's switch it out. And for now, let's just add divs. So I'm just going to select, whoa, didn't realize there wasn't, oh, I see what it is. Let's add some divs. I need to go way up here to card and change this to div. And let's make sure we do the same here. We'll do div. Alright, so this will be our outermost container. And then we have some things in here like card actions. I'm actually really interested to see what things look like if we just remove the outer card and we leave the other things in there. Oops, I capitalized div. I don't know what I was thinking. And so we don't need card, so let's just import card actions and card content. So let's just see what it does. We should have gotten auto refresh. It looks like, there we are. Nice. Okay, this is what I was hoping would happen. So we've actually kept a lot of the styles here, like for the button here. That's exactly what I wanted. So that's good news. You know, one thing that we're not getting though that we did get before is we had more info showing up. Let's see why we're not getting that info. Also, I don't know if you noticed this. I installed. We had a talk yesterday about how my imports are a mess, and so I went ahead and did a setting. So I upgraded my Visual Studio Code, and I noticed there was a new setting to where you could, if you turned it on, it would auto organize all your imports. The only problem is that it also adds semicolons, which we have set for there not to be semicolons. So I I don't know. So my import, it seems like my imports can either be organized with semicolons or not organized without them. I'm hoping that it'll just get auto formatted once it gets committed, and then it'll be okay. All right. So why are we missing? How are we missing some of this? Yeah, we should be getting the title right in there. And for some reason we're not. I mean, we're still getting the image, obviously, unless for some reason the font is white and I just can't see it, which would be odd. But I guess it's worth checking. Okay, it looks like, yeah, we're not getting. Yeah, it should be here. It should be in this p tag, and we're not getting. Sorry, that the DevTools font is probably insanely small. Let's bring that up again. Okay, so here where there should be content, there's not. Um, title. All right, let's play around with this just for a second to see why this isn't coming in. Still nothing. Huh? Okay, there we are. So we got something this time. Wow, why is there so much going on this time? Alright, so now let me try to put this back in because this should be what we want. Basically, the title gives us an array of 2 values, and we don't want 2, we want 1. Okay, great, that works. Not really sure what was going on there, but this gives us what we want, and it gives us what we need to continue on with our styling. So in terms of markup, let's try to make this a little bit easier for to handle with our CSS. So let's grab this div that is our image, and let's throw it down here below our card actions. Is this where? No, we want it down here. So we're going to throw it down below here, and I'm going to get rid of this. We were keeping it to test it out, but now that we're not going to use a card, I don't think we will use it. That'll just clean up our component a bit. Make sure. All right, we have about 2 more minutes before I do some questions from the live chat. So hang in there if you have some questions. And okay, there we are. So now we have our images below, which in terms of the flow of, this site will obviously be a left to right site. That makes more sense with the markup. Okay, now let's get into some of the styling that we could do. We have a few options. We could style, completely custom with CSS, or we could maybe take advantage of some of things we have available to us with Material UI. I think I want to just do some regular CSS styles though. So what we'll do is we already have some class here, class of card on everything. And did we wrap this in anything else? We did not. Great. But what we did do in our faculty list component, where we're pulling this in, oops, that's our faculty list query. Let's get rid of that for now. Here's our faculty list component. What we did was we put all our faculty stuff in this masonry layout, with the grid. So we want to stop doing that, and we'll keep this container. We'll take out masonry, right? And then for our grid, we can keep the grid, and that won't really be an issue if we want. But what we need, I guess we need a grid container. What we need to do is get rid of this, and let's bring back and just call this. Well, let's save it, see what happens. I think we're going to need a container though for our grid. Also, we're going to get, it's not going to like that we took out masonry. Oh, maybe it just automatically took it out for me. Awesome. Okay, so now you see these all are 100% of the width of the container. So that's what we wanted. These are now rows. Okay, so that's a good first step. Next step, after we take a little break for questions, is going to be getting these images over here and getting them to be not quite so large. Once we get those over there, then we can work on how to display this information in the most attractive way possible. So I guess I don't have to do anything on the screen. Let me go over to the chat, and I'm going to start up at the top. I'm going to scroll through, look for any questions. I'm going to set a 5-minute timer, and we'll see how much I can get through in 5 minutes. And I need to make sure I keep an eye on the clock. I have my phone here. Okay, it's 11:35 my time, 11:35 a.m. So got to make sure I really don't go past noon too much. So let's see. Someone asked, who was that? Feast for Days asked, what is the age of consent for CSS in the U.S.? Which is obviously a joke, but that's a good one. Let's see. So I see a lot of you saying hello. Hey, everybody. We have someone, Ayaz. It's A-Y-A-Z. If I'm mispronouncing that, please let me know. It says, hi, I'm new. Welcome. Thanks for watching, and thanks for letting me know you're here in the chat. Ayaz says, I don't know something about coding. Okay, so you're a beginner, feel free to ask questions. I'll do my best to answer them and explain what I'm doing. There's a lot of other people in the chat that are very helpful. Lord Dragon asks, how often does this happen? And I'm assuming Lord Dragon is talking about the errors and things that were happening. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, errors like that, I mean, that was pretty serious. The whole site was like, wouldn't start. That's not that often. But, you know, things do mess up. So almost always things don't go exactly according to plan. So these are, I will say, these are real projects that I'm doing for my employer. So I don't rehearse any of this. So when I mess up, we fix it together here on the stream. And I mess up a lot. So that's what you get here. So it's not exactly a well planned out tutorial, but it is an authentic glimpse into what I do as my title's front end developer, but we do back end at times as well. Let's see. All right, Phoenix says the notification from YouTube came on time today, which is awesome. Yesterday I had an issue where Phoenix didn't get the notification or didn't get it till really late, so I'm glad you got it. Ayaz asks, how can I get started with coding? Ayaz, I think if you go to freeCodeCamp.org and go through some of those exercises, that's a really easy way to get started. I say it's easy in terms of setup. You just need a browser and an internet connection, and you could start there. So if you just work your way through some of those challenges in freeCodeCamp and then their lessons, I think that'll give you an idea for, you know, maybe do you like it? Is this something you want to pursue further? And then, you know, you can keep going further on and progress like that. John says, another bit of advice to new people, put your seatbelt on. It's a ride, a knowledge ride. I like that one. Let's see. JJ Solo says, looks like a hacker and not a web coder. I didn't realize I looked like a hacker, so I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but let's take it as a compliment. So evidently I look like a really awesome hacker. Christian asks, what is the difference between Material UI and Bootstrap? Yeah, so Harshit gives an answer here. Material UI is based on Google's Material Design Framework, and Material UI also is designed to work with React components. So Bootstrap, on the other hand, has its own style, and it's also designed to work on I want to say, like, let's say websites that don't have a particular JavaScript framework or library like Angular or React Vue. So Bootstrap is easier to use for just a plain JavaScript HTML CSS site. Although I do believe there are versions out there that can be used with things like Angular and React. All right, so I didn't get to all the questions, but I will after our next session is over, or I will at least try to get to everything. Right now, I just started another 25-minute Pomodoro session. We're going to get back to the code, and let's see. Oh, did you all heard the alarm from? Oh, I forgot my my laptop speakers must still be on, and my headphones, which are normally in my laptop, are in my phone, so that I don't waste any computing power on running Spotify. All right, so our next step then is to display this on this side over here. So let's just do a little bit of work right here in DevTools. So I think it's always very useful to do work in DevTools. By the way, if you haven't already done so, it might not be a bad idea to check out the latest in what's available in DevTools. So at one of the sessions at the Google I/O conference, they did a talk on the new stuff in DevTools. So that's on the Google Developers YouTube channel. So check that out. Definitely worthwhile. A lot of cool tools. So I'm still not familiar enough with them to use them yet, but I think I might need to watch the talk again and practice. But definitely some good stuff. So let's see what we can do here. And here's what I'm going to try first. Let's try using a bit of Flexbox here. Okay, unfortunately, oh, are we already using Flex? Nice. Let's give it a display flex. Okay, and then let's set, am I on the top? Oops. I don't want to be. I'm one step up from where I want to be. I actually want to be down here. So we'll give this a display flex. Hey, already looking like a little better here. So we'll give this a display flex, and let's see. Okay, so by default, let's see, flex direction. Let's just go through. These are the options we have. We could do a column, which is what we had before. We don't want column reverse, which flips sorry, flips the content. And then we could go row or row reverse. So we want row, which we had defaulted to anyway. So we're going to go with that. But that just gives you an idea of your options. And let's see, just justify content. Here's some other options we can go with. So you can see we can center our content and flex it. So it's not actually that great to use right now because there's not a whole lot of space, right? But what I would like to do is set things to the left. Okay, they'll be aligned left. And then let's go down to this. And for this one, let's say justify self. And we'll go right. That should have done that. Maybe there's just not enough space. No, yeah, it should have adjusted. Interesting. I wonder if I gotta. I shouldn't have to do this. Yeah, this is. Alright, what am I doing wrong? Justify content. Okay. The first two texts need to be inside the same div. Okay, so John's saying the first two need to be inside the same div. Alright, so that's messing things up. Alright, let's go ahead and adjust the markup a bit so that we can get a better result. And then also space between. Let's do the markup first. So down here within our faculty list item component, which now is going to be a row basically, we need to take, this is called content, have our card actions and our card content in the same div. So let's just create a div here, and class name equals classes dot what can we call this? We'll call it text content, and that'll give us something to use as a class here in when we need it. Content, and down here, yeah, this is where we need our end div. Alright, is that it? Let's see. Div, I think so. Alright, let's go back over here, and we can see already this is aligning much more nicely for us. So now we only have two kind of sub groupings here within our list. Actually, what just happened? There we are. There's the div I'm looking at. So within this div, we only have two divs now that are direct children, and that's better. That's what we want. So let's go back to here to this one, and so if you hear the vibrating noise, I'm getting a phone call, but I don't know who it is, so I'm not going to answer it. So what did I want to do? Justify self. And I wanted to see if that would work. It looks like it's still not working. So it looks like John had some other things. Let's see what he said. Space between. Oh, excellent. John, you are awesome. So we can use this justify content space between to basically get the effect we want. So let's take what we've done here and apply it in our actual project, and let's see how it looks on all of these. Next step after that, we'll be tackling these images. We need to make a maximum height for the images. The width is going to be okay, and as long as it's not outrageous, any width will do. But we do need a maximum height. So let's go ahead and do that. I think the way, let's see, display flex texture, or justify content space between. Okay, I can remember that. So what did we name? This outer div, I believe, is our classes card. This item card, yeah. Which we had, yes, so width 100% on. So now with our width 100%, we're going to add this. Now, I do have to say this is going to look a little bit different than normal CSS. So I had anticipated we would be using a regular style sheet, but after looking at the markup and working with it, I think this would be the better way to go. So this is actually using CSS as JavaScript, essentially. This is a JavaScript object, but in terms of what we call things and the values we give them, it's going to be pretty much the same as normal CSS. So let's go with display flex, and we had, what was it? I already forgot it. I thought I could remember it all. Flex direction row, which we don't need because it's going to be there by default. So let's leave that out. And then we need justify content. See, and we're going to camel case because we're in JavaScript land right now, and hyphens mean minus signs. And we're going to do space between. We can leave the hyphen in this case because we put it in single quotes, which makes it a string, and so that's okay. Alright, so we have that, and then if you remember, we made another div, and we called that, it was text content. Right, so we're going to say for our text content, Actually, do we need to do anything with that? No, we don't. And we don't need that. Okay, great. So we actually don't need this, which is wonderful. Oops, I got rid of the comma that I needed. Let's save that, and then I'm going to do a hard refresh, or just a refresh, and that'll just get rid of anything that we had left over here in Chrome so that it doesn't interfere, and we know for sure that this is our stuff that we put in our project and not our test stuff in Chrome. And nice. One thing I don't understand that why this is happening, but we keep getting alternate order for this data. So I think maybe at a later time, what I'm gonna have to address that. But not bad, not bad. So let's shrink these down. Let's at least see what the height is for these. Looks like 300 pixels. So let's see if we put a max height on these images. Let's see what we get. So once again, we'll do it in DevTools first. We may even be able to do it on the detail image view. Let's do that since we can grab it from the tag name and apply it everywhere. And let's set max height 300 pixels. Whoa. Let's go into our image here. And all right, let's try it again. Let's put our 300 pixels here. Okay, much better. Much better. Okay, so it's still not going to be the most visually appealing thing. So at some point, it might be nice to go in, and what we would need really is to look up in our photo archive if we actually have photos that are more like this for these professors. And then if we don't, we'll need to get our photographers to set up appointments with these professors to take, professional photo that would give us what we need for standardization of the site. But doing it this way does allow us to have various sizes of images, and it doesn't throw off our entire layout. So I think we're going to go with this for now. The only thing I'd like to add is that kind of horizontal line in here. So we'll do that, and then once again, we've lost the we've lost some of our data. So yeah, that's a problem for later on, though. I'm not going to tackle that during this stream. Okay, so let's add this style now into our component. So we're going to go down here. Ooh, actually, no, we're going to need to add some CSS in here into a CSS file. So we'll do it in here. So in our faculty list component, I believe we're already bringing in styles. Here's our styles. So let's make a CSS page that's faculty list. Okay. Yeah, is that what we want? Actually, let's do it like this. I want to keep whatever styles we have in faculty, and then I want to see if we can bring in another style sheet, and we'll call that faculty list. And this is going to seem like overkill right now, but we'll probably end up adding styles to this, so don't worry about it. And if it does end up being overkill to have two style sheets, we can refactor. Sorry about the yawn. Alright, so we need to actually create this. So we're going to go into our static styles, and we're going to add another page, and we're going to call this faculty list.css. And now see, it's open, and we're gonna say in our faculty list.css, anything that's in this detail. Oops, and what is that? Detail view image element, and is an image. We're gonna set it at a max height of 300 pixels. And let's save that. We'll see what happens here. Let's give it a refresh to get rid of what we've just done here. Alright, wonderful. So that's been pulled in. Oh, and for a second we actually had the data that we wanted, and what happened? What happened? Alright, something's happening weird in this component. So at least we have our images looking better than they were, and you can see this CSS has now successfully been imported here. And if we look, we could see in DevTools that it's pulling that from faculty list.css. See, we could see it's right here. And we still as well have our other styles being applied that were already there, as well as our styles here, and then any inline styles that we may want to use, those are applied as well. So we have a lot of different levels of styles going on. Okay, Harshit said check the console, which is a great idea to see what may be going on here. Did not match. Oh, okay. It says warning, prop dangerously set, enter HTML, did not match. Server, client. Interesting. So it looks like that is why I'm getting this. That's odd. Yeah. Alright, so something's wrong with the way I'm pulling in this title content. So it looks like it's pulling it in initially, but then it's taking it out because it's not matching whatever's on the server. So anyway, we'll tackle that. Let me check how much time we have in this Pomodoro session. Okay, only about 5 more minutes. So basically, at this point, I'm just going to I'm going to do some more questions because I need to end the stream in a few minutes anyway. So if I were getting all the data here that I would like to have, then we may do a bit more styling just to make sure everything lines up, and we would add that horizontal in here. But basically, it's going to end up looking somewhat like this, which I think will look pretty nice. The only adjustments that may be made is, like right now, compared to the text, the images are quite large. It might not be a bad idea to maybe shrink these and do max height of maybe 250 pixels. That way more faculty members can be displayed at once. You know, you could see them on one screen. There wouldn't be, you know, all this space here. So, I mean, there are some things that definitely could be done to improve it. So, right now, I need to hurry through the rest of this live chat. So normally I like to take my time and answer all the questions, but unfortunately today I cannot. And I actually completely forgot I had somewhere to go until I already started the stream, and then I got a message on my phone that I had an appointment, and I panicked for a second and thought, when is it? When is it? And but I still had time to stream, just a quick one. All right, I'm trying to figure out where I left off in the chat. Okay, who is it? Steven's here. Steven says, hey, how's it going? Deepak says, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I mean, you all are sharing your time as well, so I appreciate that. Appreciate you all watching and helping me. So this is definitely not a one-sided thing here. Oh, Michael said, why not set max height of row div to 300 to scale everything down? Yeah, I guess I could have tried that. Although when we tried to set the container div for this image down to 300, the images just kind of bled out anyway. So anyway, I mean, this works as it is, I suppose. But had I seen that message earlier, I probably would have tried it. Oh, and then John said the same thing. Set it on the outer div. Let me try to pronounce this. It's Gururaj. Guru Raj. I'm going to say Guru Raj. Let me know if that's not how to pronounce it. It says, please make shopping cart app with Angular 6 and Node.js and latest material design. I haven't worked with Angular for a long time, let alone Angular 6. So I don't think I'll be making that anytime soon. So if anybody else has anything like that they're working on with Angular, please let us know. Let's see. Michael Creel says, Dr. John Holmes. Yes, we have a Dr. John Holmes. Or Holmes, or whatever you want to pronounce it. I don't know. Okay, Michael, good thinking on that. Michael says the faculty right now are being brought in by their faculty ID, and so that's how they're ordered, but they should be ordered by last name alphabetically. So we will do that. Actually, I need to check what the current order is on the main website that's live, the one that will be replaced, and see if they actually are in alphabetical order there, or if there's a different order. I hope it's alphabetical. I don't want to do a custom order for everyone. Alright, looks like there's 2 more questions, and then I have to be finished. Matthew says, what do you recommend if my job discourages asking for any mentorship in my programming skills? I hear that it's really key to help me grow, but my boss wants me to be 100% independent. What do I do? I would say that the best thing that you could do maybe is find information that shows how much mentoring will help you, and really how being 100% independent will make you less productive, because I definitely believe it will. So I don't offhand know of any studies or information that I can point you to, but I'm sure it's out there. So I would maybe find that, share that with your boss. I mean, you know your boss better than I do, of course. Um, so I don't know the best way to approach him with that information. You may not want to just confront him with it. Maybe you want to like slip in little comments here and there to warm him up. I don't really know, but you know, you want to show your boss how this will make you a better employee, because that's probably what he's worried about. You know, and then if you can convince him of that, then he should be okay with mentorship. And if he isn't still okay with it, then come ask me, and we can think about a strategy for the next step. Phoenix says, "Hey Jesse, just an update on my 30 days, 30 sites. It's going good, but it looks like I am doing 30 days, 30 landing pages." Hey, well, it's still coding every day. Okay, that CSS file you created, was there a period in front of that class attribute and in from the image, or I don't understand that. Where was it? Faculty of CSS? No, no period, because the actual name of the element is detail view image, right? So we can see here, detail view image. So we're not targeting a class, we're targeting an element. So I mean, this technically is completely okay. I believe in HTML5 it became okay. I'm not 100% sure that that's exactly when, but so this wouldn't pass, like, I don't know, what are those HTML certification things, you know, depending on your version, but browsers can handle this. But then when we go to use it with CSS, we need to treat it just like we would, let's say, a div, where we wouldn't put a period in front of the div. So hopefully that that answers your question. Hopefully I'm understanding it correctly. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for putting up with my lateness at the beginning and the errors that I had to deal with. And I for sure have to go right now if I'm going to make it to my appointment on time. I had a great time and a great week with you all. And I can't wait to come back next week and start streaming again. So until then, have a wonderful weekend.